Hey, good morning. It is October 11th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey, and our postseason coverage is brought to you by the Alton Sports Tap. 4 baseball games on the schedule today and Monday Night Football. Alton Sports Tap is your place to go. Get the best wings in all of Madison County and enjoy yourself a day of sports. As well, it should be a holiday for a lot of people out there. So maybe you don't have to work. Spend the day out there at the Alton Sports Tap.
You know, that'd be a fun day. I mean, you literally can spend all day there, folks. If you're going to do that, get a driver or an Uber.
Smart call there. I've been taking public transportation, and it's been planes, trains, and automobiles, literally, Rammer, for me for the past week. As yesterday or Saturday, I actually took the train into the city of Chicago to go in there.
Way to go!
For that. So it's I've been all over the place all week long. Rammer, it's been a weekend filled of baseball. You had the 4 games on Friday night, 2 games each of the past 2 days for the divisional series. And hey, we are all the way to Monday, and there hasn't been a sweep yet, which means we get another day of 4 baseball games. It's beautiful.
It really is, and a ton of fun things. It's fascinating when you don't have a rooting interest like Daily Cards. We do with the Cardinals every day. How you don't get as upset on controversy, wins and losses. Just being able to take the game in an unbiased. The only thing we're biased for is that we love baseball, and watching guys perform and or fail. It was really a thrilling weekend of baseball. It was terrific.
It's it's funny you say that because we don't get upset because nothing that happened this weekend cost the Cardinals a victory. So we don't care one way or the other. But you get angry still at, for example, the extra innings ground rule double yesterday in the Red Sox-Rays game. As a sports fan, as a baseball fan, you just get angry at that because that's the rule, or that's the interpretation of the rule. And it makes absolutely no sense, the end result of that play.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of things. Let me work it backwards. First of all, by having a rule, you take a little bit of the weight off the umpires. You say he would have scored. I say he wouldn't have scored. We're the 2 managers. You ump say 2 bases. I mean, it's just, look, here was my take. And while certainly the ball going off the player out of play changes it slightly from a traditional ground rule. But folks, and I tweeted this last night, a lot of our media brethren up in arms that it cost them a run. And I'm saying, watch all year long, all season long, ground rule doubles prevent runs from scoring. It happens all the time. Not just, it happens sometimes. All the time, ground rule double. Cardinals caught a break there. He would have scored. It happens all the time. Move on. Ground rule double. Move on. It's over. Forget it.
My issue with it isn't that it was a ground rule double that cost them a run. I get that. If ball bounces over the wall and there's a runner on first, no matter how fast he is or no matter if he was in motion, that runner gets third. Right. My issue is that it was called a ground rule double. Because the way I see that is the same as if a pitcher goes to pick off a player and ends up throwing the ball into the stands or into the dugout. That the position player knocked the ball out of play. Therefore, you could say it's a ground rule double plus 1 base. That is the way I see it, is that the position player intent or not, knock the ball out of play. Therefore, the base runner should have received an extra base, and therefore the Diaz should have scored.
If that were the rule, I'd be perfectly fine with it. I have no problem with that. In fact, I want you to send your resume into Rob Manfred and get on the rules committee. I think your idea of what that rule should be is perfect. I'm completely on board, except It's not the rule.
And there are smart baseball players out there who will take advantage of that in a situation.
Yeah, that's fine.
There are baseball players out there who can think that quickly in the moment,
like a Jim Edmonds
can do it. I mean, look at Harrison Bader a few weeks ago when he tagged up from second base. In that split second, he realized that ball's deep. If that ball gets caught, I can run 180 feet before they throw it back in, and he did. But it had to be in that quick of a moment where it happened. There are infielders who have a line drive hit to them with runners on first and second, and in a split second realize I can knock this ball down. I have the talent, the hand-eye coordination to knock this ball down and turn a quick double play to do that. And I think that there are outfielders out there who are smart enough, ball near the wall, slap it over.
My point is, I'm okay with making that the rule the way you see it. In fact, I think it's a perfect idea.
I don't know why it's not. I don't know why that's not the interpretation of the rule to begin with.
When's the last time that happened? They listed it on television a couple of times in 2 decades. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do change it. I'm okay with it, but that's not the case now. So what I'm saying is there's no crying about it now.
Yeah. Also, Boston, make your walls higher. Same in Los Angeles. Just make your walls higher, so that can't happen.
If you want to change it, it's okay with me. I'm just saying it's not the case now. That's my point.
Yeah. So that was the big controversy. I know you had issues with as Manny Grandal did in the White Sox game, which as we sit here and we talk about smart baseball, I think what he did. A little bit illegal. Yeah, it was, but that was really smart baseball. He knew the situation.
Here's about changing another rule. A base runner can pick any line if you're on first and somebody hits a ball, you can run out to the right fielder if you want, if that's your line. I mean, that's a ridiculous example, but accurate. They probably should change what in the rule book is called the batter runner. The batter runner shouldn't be able to choose whatever line they want, because say you got a runner at third, you hit the ball to the shortstop. Technically, you could run right at the shortstop. And so they probably ought to make the batter runner rule different from a base runner rule. And it'd be okay. You can't run on the grass, period. And they would have to make a rule then that the grass has to be so far away from the baseline, because teams would cheat with growing the grass in tighter. But that's probably a rule they should change too. Can't run on the grass. Period.
Yeah, and that, I look back to, and I'd have to watch video of how some of his hits looked, but I'm thinking of a player like Ichiro, who was known for doing the little running slap hit that you see in softball.
It would carry him out.
Yeah, that would take him out to where, again, I mean, that's kind of umpire discretion in a situation like that. So I don't know how you go about writing that rule and enforcing a rule like that. Grandal was not doing that. Grandal knew damn well that he hit a ball to the first baseman and there was a play at the plate, and he, that was in smart baseball that I cannot be mad at him for doing. So in that split second, he realized what he had to do, and you know what? I don't think it had any effect on the end score of the game. I don't think that one way or the other helped the White Sox win in that. But that being said, I don't know if you have seen yet this morning, because now that series is 2-1, just like the other American League series, and we go into the 2 NL series today at 1 apiece. But as I'm looking through here, the White Sox reliever Ryan Tepera, I don't know if you saw his comments last night on the Astros. He said they've had a reputation of doing some sketchy stuff over there. We can say it's a little bit of a difference. I think you saw the swings and misses tonight compared to the first 2 games at Minute Maid. The first 2 games at Minute Maid, The Astros struck out a total of 15 times in those 2 games. Yesterday, the Astros struck out 16 times at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Well, we could talk about the law of averages, pitching better, all those kinds of things. And I doubt there's anything there. But once you have a reputation as a cheater, it's going to follow you. So I don't want to hear you complaining about it from the Astros.
Yeah, that's they can't. And there are still guys on that team who were a part of that World Series winning team. So I do think that follows them into this. Yes.
Here's the other key about the White Sox. Tony's team, the bottom half of the order, was doing nothing those games in Houston. Finally, the bottom half contributed, and that made the difference as they explode for runs. Well, we've seen in particular in the American League, everybody's got to contribute because the other team's coming at you with everybody. So in an arms race, I don't mean pitching arms, I mean a weapons race. You've got to have everybody contributing or you're going to fall behind. That's just the way it's going to be.
You know, as we sit here and we look at all of the series that have taken place so far, I think it's, the American League has just been full of fireworks so far through the first 3 games for each of these. And the National League, on the National League side, about the rivalry between the Dodgers and Giants and just how fun that series was going to be going into that. It's funny that we sit here and have not said a word about Brewers Braves, because that's just been 2 pitching duels. All that's been is just damn good pitching with a total of 6 runs being scored through the first 2 games of that. And that series kind of gets the short straw in all of this because there hasn't been anything exciting that's happened. And it's just been, pitchers going out there and dominating.
Yeah, and I think that the Brewers bullpen have earned the reputation of being as good as anybody in the game and being such a great bullpen. I have a feeling that's going to be challenged because managers appropriately are going to the bullpen earlier. They're using more relievers, and I think that's going to be challenged. I think that in postseason, just a gut feel, I don't have any really hard evidence to prove it, I think the Brewers bullpen is going to end up costing them.
Well, they did lose one of their arms out there, as we are, I guess, hands, as we know for the postseason. So you kind of do sit and expect that to happen at some point, and we'll see if that ends up biting them.
I thought on the Braves side, while each individual move to replace their outfield, I mean, it's crazy, completely replace their outfield from the team that they started with in the year. In some ways, you could say they replaced it twice. But I think their lineup is better than the Brewers, and I think those two in combination, I think the Braves are going to win it. You
have today the schedule at noon. This is all Central Time. At noon, you have Brewers and Braves. At 2:30, Astros and White Sox. At 6 o'clock, Rays and Red Sox. And then at 8:30 tonight, Giants and Dodgers. Looking around at the probables for today, Max Scherzer gets a start today for the Dodgers after his Wednesday outing in the wild card game against the Cardinals. Outside of that, the Brewers are going to throw Freddie Peralta out there. Those are probably the best 2 arms going today in the 4 games.
A couple of things, just a couple little notes that rattling around in my head for the White Sox. Rodon, they'd been concerned about his workload. His velocity was down. If it remains down or he just gets hit, how quickly? I think Tony will have an even quicker leash with Rodon today. And then with Wood, the lefty starting for the Dodgers, Albert Pujols gets the start at first base. With Wood starting for the Giants, Albert Pujols gets the start at first base for the Dodgers. So for those who do like rooting interests, you'll have Albert in there for LA today.
And if you missed it yesterday, Adam Wainwright was on the call for the Fox broadcast with Adam Amin and AJ Przynski.
Yeah.
So it was nice
fun
to hear him. I got to say this. So too many times, and Rammer, I know you have seen your fair share of former athletes that want to get into the world of broadcasting. And these are athletes who never wanted to give the media the time of day when they played, and the media was the enemy, or they were annoying, and they didn't want to talk to them at all. And then as soon as they retire, I want to go into the media. I can work in the media now. Let me do that. But Adam Wainwright is not that guy. No. Adam Wainwright has stood in front of reporters, has sought out. I mean, he will talk to you when after his worst games. He will talk to you when he has off days. He has been one of the nicest, most giving players I have ever seen when it comes to handling the media, which makes his success, or I guess I should say early success in the media, so nice and refreshing to see. Yeah. And you imagine that he will kill it in that industry if that's where he goes after he retires and buys his kids a dog.
I think so too. The one thing over time, not last night, he was so refreshing to listen to. So this is not a criticism, just if he were asking, and there's no reason ever for him to ask me. But if he were asking, I'd say, if you decide to do it full time, there may be a point where criticisms of managers, of players, of the way the game's played, of MLB, will be warranted, and that could put him or anybody in his spot, but puts analysts in a tough spot sometimes. How do you handle that? And that should be something, as a guy who is revered throughout the game of baseball as the nicest guy in the game. So you have to decide if you want to go down that path, because eventually those situations will occur.
It can, and that can happen when he's not signed for $17 million for the following year to pitch. So when,
agreed.
When the only contract that he's under is that for Fox, then agreed. He can criticize all he wants. As long as he's under contract with the Cardinals, let's keep some of that criticism to a minimum.
Well said. Well said.
Rammer, I know they're probably closed today, but a word from your friends at Royal Banks.
Royal Banks closed, but hey, give them a call. Get online. The website never goes down, royalbanksofmo.com. And, there's been a concern for a while that the mortgage rates are going to go up. And I don't believe in scare tactics, but as you observe, it never hurts to take a look. Tomorrow, 314-212-1500. Give your banker at Royal Banks of Missouri a call. Talk about a refi. Talk about getting ready to buy a new house and get ready for a new mortgage. The bankers there will give you the best advice and will work the hardest for you to achieve your financial goals. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Ramber, we will be back tomorrow. We'll recap all 4 of these games today with another edition of Daily Cards Live. Also, we'll get scheduled, you and Keith Costas, for this week as well. So plenty of baseball and postseason coverage still here all October long on Claibs Online, and all the postseason coverage brought to you by the Alton Sports Tap. Try their Nashville hot chicken sandwich when you go up there today for these 4 baseball games and Monday Night Football tonight. Lot to watch out there at the Alton Sports Tap. For Bob Ramsey, I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live, presented by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri, right here on ClaibsOnline.com.
The 2021 Acura TLX is the top-selling luxury sedan in St. Louis, and St. Louis Acura has an unbeatable selection. The TLX has the highest safety rating, and right now you can get $2,500 in loyalty conquest offers with 0% financing for up to 36 months. We offer free pickup and delivery, and we'll also buy your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. St. Louis Acura, committed to becoming better than ever for you.